gentlemen, welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Falak Khan, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ms. Saraswati Raman. Hello, welcome, Ms. Raman. We are glad to have you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders. So let me give you a quick brief about Ms. Saraswati Raman, a senior manager and a seasoned professional excelling in every facet of banking operations. She has a remarkable career spanning over 3 decades with indelible contributions to the industry. She possesses a rare combination of skills, including her prowess as an accomplished trainer, a proficient communication expert using the skill to the fullest in the form of several publications, and an astute problem solver in the realm of contemporary financial markets. She also has significant experience in alternative therapies, namely NLP, alternative medicine, life coaching, and quantum powers, among others. In her latest role, she has served in the position of Senior Manager, Faculty and College in Charge, Canara Bank Regional Staff Training College, Pune. So, Ms. Raman, could you let our viewers know about your career journey so far?
That was a generous introduction. I feel so honored to be with you, to be doing this with you today. Yes, when I look back at my career of 34 years in Canara Bank, I can divide it into 3 phases, 3 segments kind of. The first segment saw me as the growth phase. When I joined the bank as a clerk, and in 2 years I became a probationary officer. Then I was posted to various branches, like small, medium, large, very large branches. And at that time, service was determining the growth of a bank. And it was also the time where the stock markets were booming. So our bank started a subsidiary for merchant banking operations, and I was sent on deputation there. So this phase saw me absorbing everything, every facet of finance. The second phase, I could say, began from when Bombay Circle was divided, and I chose to come to the Mumbai North Circle, that was where all development was happening. That is Thane, Navi Mumbai, and this region. And it was also the time when ALPM came into the bank. That is, computerization just took a step into the bank. And I was chosen as a faculty for teaching this ALPM to our staff. And during that time, I developed an expertise of tallying ledgers. Like there used to be branches with 50, 100 ledgers, and they had to be tallied before migration to the computers. So I was posted to branches like Surat, even Rajkot, Jamnagar, and so many branches to get the branch ready for migration. This phase went up to 2001 when I was promoted as a manager. The third segment I can see when I was in charge of branches as a manager in Kolshet, Kalamboli, Ambernath, then Bhawanipet branch, and Bijli Nagar in Pune. This phase also was when I found that I was responsible for the decisions that I took. So, while talking to the customers for granting of loans, I had to delve deep into even their lifestyle to see that our loans don't go bad and they are repaid. So I used to not only study the lifestyle of the customer, the problems that he had, and also delve deep into the industry of for which I was financing, like whether it was garments or leather industry or construction. So I used to delve deep into the industry also. It was also the time when I came into contact with self-help groups. a lot of women groups where they were coming up with with their own indigenous kind of businesses. So all this groomed me to take up the faculty position. That was how I was selected again as a faculty for teaching the core banking operations. That was the third phase when the core banking started coming into the bank. And I was posted to Nagpur and Chhattisgarh region, entire region where I trained in core banking. Then again, I got promotion as a senior manager where I was posted back into the branch. After that was the risk management, a phase where the Basel II rules came into being, and we had to have capital adequacy norms in place, the risk ratings in place. So again, I came to the training system. In fact, the teaching others became a learning experience for me, so to say. So in the process, I imbibed a lot of things and also was able to delve deep. So I could say that from my banking career, there are three takeaways. One is where I could engage in deep conversations with customers and get out there and get them to confide or trust me with your problems. And so I became a kind of providing solutions. Providing solutions became a second nature to me. And the third thing was to look at everything from a global perspective. And from there, dive deep into the subject and solve the issues. So this was a very enriching experience for me of 34 years of banking.
So that's really an interesting and wonderful career journey, I must say, so far. So you have a really vast professional purview ranging from being a banking expert with expertise in various aspects of banking to alternative healing therapies. Which of your roles have you enjoyed the most?
Now, when I shift from banking, I would like to give you a bit of a context. I'll have to give you a bit of a context here.
Yes.
6 years into banking, as an officer in the bank, I was drawn to study Vedas, Vedantas, Upanishads. So I joined the 2-year course on Vedanta taking leave from the bank. And in that process, I became very deep engaged in reading, contemplation, meditation, and these meditative practices. One day, it resulted in an out-of-the-body experience. The consequence was that I used to be in different states of consciousness, different states of consciousness, which affected my study or attending the classes as such. And so they asked me, they called my parents and asked me to ask them to take me to a doctor, preferably a psychiatrist. So I was examined, and he started medicating me for schizophrenia. So I was put under medication for schizophrenia, and this went on for 18 years. But during that period of time, my concentration was great, my focus on my work was good, so it did not affect my work. But around 2000, one of my colleagues introduced me to Sahaja Yoga meditation. When I attended that, something clicked in me, and I realized something made me aware that I was not living up to my potential. I had withdrawn myself into myself. I was isolating myself. I was not mixing up with people, not talking to everybody. I had not noticed all these things. It was happening over the years very naturally as a consequence of those medicines. Because those medicines had a side effect of cutting the neurotransmitter, the neurons that facilitated communication with myself, with others. So that was what changed me. And within 6 months of into that meditation, I got my promotion as manager. So I continued with that meditation every day, morning and night. But still, it was only after 3 years that I could actually put an end to that medication. I stopped my medicines after 3 years, and then I realized what all I had missed in life. I had joined as an officer, so I had good potential of having promotions, but I had not taken those promotions. So I studied, in order to know myself better, what had gone wrong with me, I studied PAMS, that is Alternative Medicines with Indian Board of Alternative Medicine, Kolkata. And then I did MD in Alternative Medicine. The subjects were mainly meditation therapy, yoga therapy, aromatherapy, and such kind of subjects which delve deep into myself. It was mainly for my own development. I also, in that process, I um, did an MBA, I did a certification in image management, and so I was fulfilling all my desires. And but basically, the reason for going into that for healing and health was to heal my own self, to come out of all the suppression, the bottling up of all my emotions. In fact, I found that I've never cried for over these 18 years, not a drop of tear. Never felt the emotions. Is that how impactful these medicines are? That was the reason for me undertaking those things. Yes,
That's really great to know, I must say. So you have written several books. Could you share some insights into or useful advice from any of your works with our viewers, please?
Sure. Actually, the experience that I've gone through, I wanted to put it in a form of a book. That was what my first book was, Sahaj Yoga, Secret to Self-Unfoldment and Transformation. This was followed by another book, The Mystery of Sound, because I had used music therapy to cure myself of insomnia that I had developed. Then another book was Incarnation, Steps for Momentum and Human Evolution. Then came my fourth book, which was Sahaja Yoga, Feel and Integrate Your Subtle Energy System. This contained a comprehensive chapter on how to use Sahaja Yoga tools and techniques for healing the left channel and the right channel, and how we can be balanced energetically. So these techniques I wanted to share with the people. And in fact, this book won a Goldfield Award also, and it was republished again and again. So I found that the main purpose was to share.
That's really very great, I must say. So when we talk about ESG and corporate governance, we want to know, like, how did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Yes, actually, after my retirement in 2014, that was when I took my PRS, I was into writing. I started writing mostly translation from our scriptures of the Muddal Puran, the Ganesh Gita, and those things. I was involved intensively into that for 4-5 years. But then I was also doing transformational coaching and doing a little bit training for transformational coaching and doing a bit of one-on-one coaching, but I was not getting anywhere. So that's when one of my friends introduced me a mindset change program by World Mindset Organization, and that the practices which involved in that mindset change was mostly to do with our sensory perception, like the sense of touch, the sense of seeing, hearing, listening to the sound of the fan or sound of the bird. These things brought back my awareness to the reality in front of me. That was when I started noticing things. And one of these programs came up was this ESG and corporate governance. And the master class was very interesting. So I enrolled for the course. And when I started doing the course, the entire banking career came flashback, I was able to recollect all the rules, the Companies Act and everything. And I was able to do almost 6-7 video sessions per day. And assessments, the assessment tests were also like good results in the assessment test, which encouraged me. And that's when I went on to complete it in less than a month. And then again in the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, they also had all those modules. That also in another month, and I passed the exam.
That's very interesting and wonderful to know indeed, I must say, and truly inspiring indeed, of course. So as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Values, I would like to bring three essential values. And I just remember the definition of value by Swami Dayananda, who he said, A value is a value only if the value of that value is totally valuable to you. So three values which I cherish is authenticity, integrity, and stability. Authenticity is bringing your true self to the table. That is what you essentially are. And when you are able to think clearly, express yourself clearly, and you also tend to give the other person the opportunity to do the same, to be their authentic self. This enables trust in the relation or in the conversation and gives best results. And integrity is you develop as you go along. You start tweaking what is not essential, what comes in the way, what is inhibiting you. And all this gets integrated in yourself and you project an authentic self. Finally, stability I value very much in the sense of grounding. Be down to or be grounded in what you do or however you approach a situation. These three values I feel have helped me during my career, and I'm sure it will be useful in any field.
Yes, definitely. And we hope so too. And wish you the best for the same.
Thank you so much.
So when we talk about technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Well, the big change that I saw in the past 3-4 years was far too much compared to even the immediately preceding 3-4 years. In the last 3-4 years itself, the use of technology so much that you becomes the center and the world circulates around you. Like you stay at home and you can get vegetables, you can get groceries, you can pay your bills, you can even get someone to do a health checkup at home. So you have become the focal point and the world is going around you. But then this made me thinking like how far we are in touch with reality. But reality as it is, we often in such a situation we can easily get carried away by what is made available or what is shown to you, and then we go after that and build up on that. So we are in actually an imaginary reality, not the real reality. So all this machine learning, the Internet of Things, and the artificial intelligence, even the connectivity between the network of connections between devices and the cloud connectivity with the individual device, this whole thing, while it looks very appealing to reach out to a mass of people, to reach large audiences, to reach for scale, it would be useful in giving information during emergency situations or during disaster times. So when this is made a normal use, you actually are working in a disaster-like situation or an emergency situation on a daily basis, which is not really healthy. Another thing, the machine learning, you can reach, yes, it does help in bringing education to the doorstep. It is cost effective. You don't have to go to the colleges. There is no brick and mortar, and a lot of expenses are saved. It's cost effective. But it can be useful where there is preliminary learning, not where you require your own independent thinking, apply the experience on the education. There you might actually, that's where there is a likelihood of building, making robots of people. That is, people will be made into learn what you are taught. You can't get the creativity, the potential for creativity cannot be tapped into there. So that's one problem there. And another thing about artificial intelligence is it is built on what is already stored in their database, data warehouse. Whatever goes there is what comes out. So you might put in ChatGPT or whatever, you might put in a string of words and get a document or even a whole book written on that subject. But it is based on what has been said in the past. So it is not necessarily the entire thing. There may be so many things that may have actually been left out. certain things which is not built into that database. So the ultimate originality, like what we saw in this Chandrayaan scene, many things were actually learned because of the last failure, which might not have been actually there in the, if artificial intelligence was used, it would have given a set of programs to go and land on the moon. But they built on the errors learned, which that is only possible by humans at the human level. Another thing that we spoke of was of blockchain. Now, blockchain is being used at almost every level these days. It is being used in industry, it is being used in health, in hospitals, in logistics, almost for every transaction. It's a system of accounting for a transaction. Even the large amount of cryptocurrency transactions that are technically taking place are all based on blockchain. Now, in fact, the number of these transactions has risen so much. That is, it has gone into zettabytes. Zettabytes means that is the data bytes in a day. Okay, it's 100 followed by 21 zeros. If that is the size of data that is being processed, of course it is for something where it is the mind cannot handle all that, it may be useful. But then this blockchain requires structure. It requires servers. It requires all those machines for storing and processing all that data, which might be into acres of land. Huge structures are required, which are generating heat. And that is what is causing our environmental issues, the climate change, the global heating, global warming, that all that is happening. And if you see, it is happening in these Western countries, in Europe and the US and those areas, and they are trying to get the whole world to work around that to solve those problems.
Right.
Blockchain is having that. It might be totally disconnected. It may appear totally disconnected, but that is one of the harmful effects of this. So while this is necessary, because of the volume, the large volume scales of transaction that is happening, it may be necessary. It needs to be controlled. Used in a controlled fashion. Use where it is necessary. Where it is not necessary, don't use it, because it also may lead to a large amount of greed. Because when it is used in large scale, where it's money-minting kind of businesses, it will lead to greed. So these are some of the aspects which make me thinking on these aspects of technology.
Yes, that's definitely there. And we just hope that, technology grows for better. Yes. So as you know, we are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken about by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hemal Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
I applaud Zishan Mehta as well as Zishan Pathan and Hemal Mehta for getting off with this venture of Directors Institute, because there is a huge wealth of wisdom amongst the executives of banks who have retired, of corporates who have retired, or whose careers is over, or who have a lot of knowledge which can be shared in the corporate world. In terms of leadership, for leadership, as well as tackling the level of misuse of technology, how to interpret all these culprits, what they are doing. So it's a good forum of bringing together the wisdom of experts and in the corporate sector. So it's a good initiative, applaud. And thank you, it has given me an opportunity to refresh my own thinking, which I thought it was going on a different trajectory, and bringing back into mainstream. So I really enjoyed this.
Yes, Glad to know that. And these have been like really kind words by you. So it was fantastic conversing with you. And I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ms. Saraswati Raman. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. And all the wonderful teachings, different principles that you've shared with us, your career journey, and the values that you plan to bring to the table, I'm sure, like everyone watching this, it is going to help them grow in their careers too. Thank you so much.